What is going on? This is Justin in Rochester with Purple and Gold for Days. Good evening. Well, the Vikings decide to give us some late breaking news. I'm getting already set up, got my whole script ready to go. And just like my brother Dave from Vikings First and SKOL, who had to rewrite his Too Old Blogger script because of the Danielle Hunter news, we got Dalton Risner heading into the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 2 months, but I have said the Vikings need to look at Dalton Risner, or at least give me a good reason why he shouldn't be looked at. And we haven't heard anything. Everybody talking about, well, maybe he's injured, maybe this, maybe that. Maybe I don't care. Maybe get him in the building and maybe look at him and say, you know what? Yeah, you're injured. We're not offering you a contract. But up until this point, to not even bring him in to have a look was beyond me. We've talked all off season. We just need the defense to be a little bit better, and we need to see the offense continue to grow. Well, you know what? Your growth potential by replacing Adam Thielen with Jordan Addison is all well and good, and maybe moving on from Dalvin Cook and doing the running back by committee. But when you got the same interior offensive linemen that are kind of mediocre at pass blocking, I don't know how much movement you can do. Yes, I get my point, Brother Dave always makes. Consistency is good, particularly with the offensive line, and I do agree with that. But when you're consistently mediocre on the interior, what good does that really do? But we got a lot to get into tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button if you've just found me here this evening and you don't already subscribe. That's Purple and Gold for Days. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. I got 16 people in the building, and I'm not even at the 2-minute intro. Thank you so much. And if this is your first time, we do shout outs to everybody. We get the comments up in the building. So first off, we have SKOL Mafia, who I think was here at about 7:40 Central Time. What's up, Purple Gang? Appreciate you as always. Mick Andrews, how's it going? Chicken Soup for the Soul, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you are just getting off of work, so by all means, just hit us up when you get back in. I want to mock Bob. It is absolutely past beer 30, Bob. You are correct. But being as I am the only one tonight, because I'm doing this solo thing Monday nights, I got to keep it clean tonight, Bob. I really do. But thanks again for joining. Speaking of Grandpa Dave, my brother from Vikings First and SKOL. If you don't already subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL on both YouTube as well as your favorite podcast aggregator, Spotify, Apple, whatever else is out there. Those are the only two I really know. But hit up Vikings First and SKOL so you get all of the podcasts from Dave and Tyler. Dave does daily delivery, which is podcast only. I do once a week at minimum. Usually Wednesdays is what we're shooting for with the midweek musings. Those are not available on our YouTube pages, so get those and download the episodes and hit subscribe there as well. Rhino, Vikings Uncensored, good evening. Great show from Rhino after my show is over. If y'all didn't see Rhino's show, head on over to Vikings Uncensored as well. And the greatest Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, MySpace handle of all time, my worthless opinion, because it's rarely ever worthless on this show. That is for daggone sure. What's up, Gary? Good to see you again. Saw you earlier. Thanks again for joining. As always, we got my boy Tony in the building as well. What's up, Tony? Good to thanks again for joining us. SKOL for Life is also in the building as well. Hey, Tony North. Did I miss North? Oh, there's Norpheus. He's right next to you. All right, there's Norpheus as well. What's up, Norpheus? What's up, SKOL for Life? We got a new one. This is a new name here. All the games. Oh, AI got games. All right. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a beast. Yeah, maybe. I'm going to get to that one in a second. But thanks for joining me on games. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. My SKOL brother and my twin. Well, no, he's not my twin. He's my nephew because he calls me uncle all the time. Purple Pocket Podcast. If you rock with Purple and Go for Days, I'm guessing you probably already rock with rap anyway. But if you don't, hit up my brother there as well. The doctor is in the house as well. We always got house calls with the doctor. What's going on, Dr. Proto? Thanks again for joining us. We got Dave in the building as well. We got so many Daves around here. We got my compatriot Dave, who I do the Tuesday night show with. We got Dave from First and SKOL. We got Dave Thibodeau. I'm sure Ditter will show up around here in just a minute. But what's going on, Dave? Thanks for joining as well. I think I got all the shout outs here. Okay, so time to rewrite the script. And that's the fun thing. And you know what? I'm here for it. Why? Because I've been talking about this guy for 2 months. It was my video called 3 Moves Left. It was really only 2 moves. It was sign Danielle Hunter, at least make him happy, and then sign Dalton Risner. I put Marcus Peters in there because it's always good to have 3 on your thumbnail, 3 moves versus 2 moves. But Dalton Risner is on his way. I got a call out to a local media member. Hopefully, he was already on. Judd Zalgab was already on Vikings First and SKOL tonight. I tried to see if I could get him on here. Dave's working on him for me, but we'll see. But the first thing I would ask, are they taking him right to TCO, or are they going to take him to Manny's Steakhouse? Either way, do whatever you need to do. Get this man in the building and sign him. If it's a 1-year minimum, veterans minimum, great. If it's a multi-year contract, great. I don't care. Get this guy in here. We need help on the interior of our offensive line. Ezra Cleveland, and what's great about Dalton Risner, by the way, 2nd-round pick, he's the antithesis of Ezra Cleveland. Ezra Cleveland is a very, very good run blocker and a mediocre at best pass blocker. Dalton Risner is quite literally the exact opposite. He's a great pass blocker and a okay run blocker. That's what we need on this team. We've moved away from the Mike Zimmer run, pass. We're done with that. We're done with bell cow running backs. We're going to running back by committee. We need Dalton Risner in this building, and I've said it for 2 months. Again, if he ends up getting here and we sign him, I don't know why you waited so long. I don't know why you didn't want to have him around for the offseason. Maybe you didn't want to be in camp. I don't know. I don't care. If Dalton Risner lands and you wine and dine this guy, there better be a daggone good reason why you don't keep this guy, because you need him. You put a competition in there. I don't care whether you bench Cleveland, whether you bench Ingram, if he's healthy and he can still play. You built this team around an offensive-minded head coach. They were a top 10 offense last year, but they had a lot of boomer bust, a lot of 3-and-outs here, a lot of great drives, second halves, fourth quarters, all that good stuff. We've said it ad nauseum. That's great. But what we need is consistency on offense, and what Kirk Cousins needs more than anything. Y'all know how I feel about Kirk, but he's our guy for this year. So let's move on with what we're going to do in the future. Let's move on with what we think the ceiling may or may not be. He's our quarterback. We all knew he was getting pounded last year. We really saw how much he's getting pounded when we saw that Netflix documentary and how much work that young man needs to do just to get his body right to play every week. Maybe Kirk Cousins would be slightly more effective in the offense in general if he wasn't being picked up by Ezra Cleveland or Ed Ingram half the time. He goes back to throw a pass to Justine Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, etc. I don't mean to go overboard on this. I know this guy's not Randall McDaniel or Steve Hutchinson, okay? I know that. I'm not getting too crazy here. But what I am saying is the one weakness you have offensively is that interior offensive line. You've got a top 10 quarterback. You've got the best wide receiver in the NFL. You've got a top 3 tight end. You've got KJ Osborne going into a contract season, and you drafted a wide receiver in the 1st round. You've got all the weapons in the world. But what happens when you go up against Philly, when they got defensive line for days? No pun intended. What happens when you go up against the Dallas Cowboys? What happens when you go up against the San Francisco 49ers? Yes, this offensive line was markedly better in 2022 than it was the last couple of years under Zimmer. I'll give him that. But I want to take a second and describe to you where the improvements were and where the weaknesses still are. When you got 3 kinds of defensive lines: outstanding defensive lines, good to mediocre defensive lines, and bad ones. Under Zimmer, we were getting dogfights against bad defensive lines, and we were getting smoked by mediocre defensive lines, and we were getting destroyed by great ones. Yes, this past season, against bad defensive lines, we dominated. Against middle-of-the-road defensive lines, we got in dogfights. I'll mention the Buffalo game. They got a good defensive line. We survived that game, barely. The Miami game, we didn't do anything offensively in that Miami game. We had 15 drives, and we had 11 3-and-outs. And actually a 12 3-and-out that was a field goal that we just happened to be 3-and-out and just kicked the field goal. So it doesn't go down in the record books as a 3-and-out, but it was. The Washington game, survived that game too. The Colts game, and I don't think the Colts defensive line was very good. We just didn't show up for the first half of that game, but I digress. My point is this. I like what this offensive line has done under KOC, and it has improved. That's true, and that's great. So what you've now done is against bad ones, you can dominate, and against middle of the ones, you can survive. But you're still going to get killed by dominant defensive lines. And you're going to get killed by teams that have both good offensive and defensive lines. We'll talk about our defense here in a minute. But my overarching point is this. You spend all this time, energy, and effort into having the best possible offense you can, why in the world didn't you draft an offensive lineman like at all? Why in the world didn't you bring in a free agent offensive lineman? I get it. They had some salary cap issues at the beginning, and we can talk about that later. But my point is this. There is no reason, unless you bring in Dalton Risner and you give him a physical and you say, oh, no, this guy's got a really bad injury. He's not healed from. Okay, fine. Yes, don't sign a guy that's injured just to sign a guy. But short of that, I want this guy on this team because that would move the needle offensively to allow you to do the things we've been talking about, allowing Kirk Cousins to get better the second year under the same offensive system, same training camp, etc. Running back by committee to have a little bit more consistency and not having a guy running for 0 and 1 yards half the time he touches the ball. And not having as many 3 and outs and allowing your defense to not be on the field as much. And then we can allow Brian Flores to be aggressive. And if you get burned once or twice a game, okay, you get burned once or twice a game. Fix this offensive line. Bring in Dalton Risner. End of discussion there. Next topic. Signing of Danielle Hunter. 1 year, $20 million. I wish it was a multi-year extension because I still think this is a half measure. But it's a half measure that gives the Vikings flexibility. Let's say, worst case scenario, the Vikings pull a 2020 and they start off 1-5. Well, you can trade Danielle Hunter then. It's a no tag clause, not a no trade clause. Only Kirk Cousins gets no trade clauses on this team. But anyway, if Danielle Hunter without Danielle Hunter on this team, the idea that Brian Flores could make this defense anything better than a 25th ranked defense was pie in the sky, if you ask me. With Danielle Hunter, he's got a chance to make it top 20, maybe top 15. But more importantly, as my compatriot Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk, who I do a Tuesday night show with, had said, maybe they can crack the top 10 in scoring defense, not necessarily yardage. And you know what? For all the praise we want to give Mike Zimmer, let's not forget that Mike Zimmer at one point had 7 Pro Bowlers on his roster. He had Danielle Hunter. He had Everson Griffin. He had Linval Joseph, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. The list goes on and on. Xavier Rhodes. And, oh, by the way, some Hall of Famer to be Harrison Smith. You better have good defenses when you got 7 out of 11 guys making a Pro Bowl. And who we got on the Pro Bowl right now? Well, Harrison Smith. Yeah, I like Brian Murphy Jr. Celebrated when we signed him. Like that signing, but having Danielle Hunter on this team was imperative. If you are serious about being competitive and not just, well, we're kind of sort of rebuilding the roster on the fly, and we're hoping to win this weak division and just get into the playoffs. If you're serious about anything, you needed to keep this guy. Now, the one thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see Danielle Hunter have this renaissance year and then go sign somewhere else. But at the same time, I'm happy that a deal got done. I'm happy that he was out on the practice field earlier today. And I'm happy that Danielle Hunter is going to be a member of this team for the 2023 season, because at the end of the day, Brian Flores needed something. No disrespect to the other guys. They're all pro players. But what else do we have? We have a lot of hopes and a lot of prayers. A lot of hopes that Marcus Davenport can be something. A lot of hopes that the rotation of the defensive tackles can be adequate at best. Outside of Brian Asamoah, what do we got at linebacker? Jordan Hicks? Yeah. The Vikings needed Danielle Hunter in the worst possible way, and it's not even close. So, I'm happy. Yes, I made the prediction on Purple Daily that I didn't think Danielle Hunter was going to be back because I did think the relationship was irreconcilable, and honestly, it was dang near close. So I wasn't entirely wrong with the thought process because they were very, very close to trading him, according to Ian Rappaport. Ian Rappaport doesn't throw stuff out there for the sake of doing it. Okay, he's not that kind of guy. He doesn't need to be. He and Adam Schefter are the kings of the NFL breaking news. So when he says the Vikings were close to trading him, yeah, I'm glad to be wrong with that one. I'm glad to be wrong because now our defense has a chance anyway. Before I get to the next topic, I hit some comments and holy cow, you guys are commenting up a storm here. What's going on here? What's going on? Who have I missed? Have I missed anybody? Oh, sure. Went to the bottom. You couldn't have stayed where I was. I like this one, Rap. What's good? Let's go get Risner. I agree. Rap did a nice video earlier, so after the show, go check him out as well. So go check out Rap. Go check out Rhino Vikings Uncensored. Well, you guys know the drill. And by the way, I got the schedule. the schedule of Vikings content creators that I am affiliated with. You all know the drill. Purple Pocket Podcast, Vikings First and SKOL, Purple and SKOL Media, Minnesota Sports Talk, GG Sports, Vikings Uncensored. I got the whole schedule, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned for that. We'll still post this on Twitter and on our Facebook pages and on our YouTube community channels because there's a lot going on. And we do our best to try to not overlap so you guys can tune into as much content as you can. But at some point, there's only so many hours in the day. A lot of hellos and a lot of what's up. Gary, who does he replace? I agree with SKOL Mafia. Ezra Cleveland, period. In fact, if you got Dalton Risner in here and he looked good to go, and some team that needed a tackle wanted to give you a third-round pick for Cleveland, that's probably pie in the sky, but something, yeah. I'd love to keep Cleveland around for depth because Oli Udoh is a solid rotational tackle, but yeah, if you can keep him around to have him be a rotational tackle, sure. But if you can get something for return on a guy that might not be back next year anyway, absolutely. In the Zone podcast, shout out to you, my brother. Thanks for joining me. It's crazy. Why did it take so long to sign an O-lineman? I don't know. I don't know that O'Neal's not going to be ready. I think O'Neal will be fine. I think they're just going to bring him along slowly because it's the preseason and who cares. I think O'Neal's going to be fine. But you might be right. This could be where we're going to bring in Risner. We're going to move Cleveland to right tackle for the beginning of the season until O'Neal's ready. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. But from what I'm hearing right now, that O'Neal is okay. They're just bringing him along slow. Thank you, Rhino. Smash that subscribe button if you've already done so. And like I said, I'll put it up in the... You know what I'll do? I will modify the comments, or excuse me, the description later with all the channels that I'm affiliated with here that we're going to talk about here tonight. But thank you kindly, Rhino, for that. I appreciate it. The fourth? Yeah, maybe. Cleveland won't be back. What's up? Dan, what's going on? Shout out, Dan. If he could take Bradbury's spot, that'd be awesome. Well, here's the thing. Somebody did, I can't remember if it was Judd on First and SKOL or where I heard it, but he has played a little bit of center too. So maybe, I don't care. I want the 5 best offensive linemen up front protecting Kirk Cousins at all times. I don't care what positions they are. If they can play and they're the best players, put them out there. That's what I'm thinking. What's up, Mateo? I think if I gained 50 pounds, I could get a sack against Brigham. Mateo with the comment of the night so far. That's why we bring Mateo in, because he's always got it. What's up, Northeast? Guards just can't magically become center. Yeah, that's true, too. He needs to have. But I agree with you, Tony, right here. This team does need a center badly. I get why they re-signed Garrett Bradbury, because he was cheap. And because if let's say you drafted John Michael Schmitz, would he have been ready to start day one? I get it. Offensive linemen need time to develop, unless they're just off the charts left tackles like a Bryant McKinney, where he just came in his rookie year and started. I understand that, but yes, I don't know why they didn't go after a center in free agency. Well, yeah, I do know why. It was money, and this guy came cheap. Let's see what else we got going on here. You know what? I always love having my brother Dave in here. The Vikings have had great needs to spend high draft picks on free agency money, future of the positions other than offensive line, so this has to work. That's Brian Risner. Totally agree. I totally agree. All right. I think I'm caught up. No, I'm not. There's always one. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you. Thank you, Connie, so much for joining me. Since we were called frauds for winning one-score games, the Giants fans talking bleep. They own this. I told them ownership was winning one-score games was fraudulent. Okay. Well, the thing of it is, the Giants, yeah, they're pretty close to the Vikings. That's why we played them twice, and we played 2 one-score games. They're pretty close teams. Now, I think the Vikings roster is a little bit better, and I like Kevin O'Connell, and I'm glad he is our head coach because I do think he has unlocked something in Kirk that we certainly didn't see with Mike Zimmer. But Kevin O'Connell got out-coached in that wildcard game. You know what? Dable learned from the loss that they had on Christmas Eve, and they came in here with a perfect game plan, and we didn't adjust. The one flaw in Kevin O'Connell was he should have taken the game, the play calling away from Ed Donishow after the Buffalo game, and certainly after the Dallas game. And maybe if you want to say after the New England game, since that was only 4 days later, fine. But after Thanksgiving, he should not have been calling plays. We do have to give a little bit to say, hey, man, this is the guy you hired. And you were loyal to a fault. David Ditter's in the building. Hey, I said David was going to be here earlier, didn't I, ladies and gentlemen? I did say that. Thank you kindly for joining me. Appreciate you. Sodak is here. What's going on, Sodak? Looking forward to seeing you at SKOL Fest, by the way. Thanks again for joining me. Appreciate you guys. I always do. You need a good backdrop flip. Norspheus, follow me on Twitter, jday_24. jday_24. Follow me on Twitter. Shoot me a DM. I'll hit you up. End of discussion. All day. Because I know that one you got for rap is on absolutely fire. What's up, Nick? Good to see you. Saw you earlier. Didn't have a chance to say hello because I was getting ready for my show, but good to see you, my brother. All right. I think I'm actually caught up. But I had a couple of them that I saved. Oh, yeah. I already did Dave's. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a beast. He's going to bleep up all defenses. Yeah, I'd love to see that guy. I don't know that they would be in a position to take another wide receiver in the first round. Yeah, but yes, him and JJ and Addison. Yeah, I'd go for that. I would go for that. All right, next team. What do we got here? See, this is fun just doing the solo thing. It's like, oh, wait. I can't just go like this, and I can't just go like that. You know what? The media's fine. No. Kirk Cousins finally getting some credit. Finally getting some credit. And I'm happy. I honestly am. I am happy that regardless of how I feel about the guy, he's our guy. So nobody's going to be disrespecting Kirk Cousins anymore. I said it the day that the Madden game trailer came out, and they absolutely disrespected Kirk Cousins by having him not only throw a pick six, but absolutely getting trucked by Micah Parsons. I'm not going to say my opinion has changed all that much after the documentary because it just confirmed what I already knew. He's a wonderful human being. He's a wonderful husband and father. And he's one tough son of a gun. But the fact that he was ranked 42, that says something. That says the world's finally catching up to at least acknowledge what he is. I'm not going to go too far over the top and say he's a top 5 quarterback. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy that Kirk Cousins actually is getting some national respect. Now, I get it. Some of it's fans, some of it's media, some of it's players. It's all well and good. I guess I got to learn how to pace myself if I'm going to do a show by myself, yo. Iron Man Kirk, Bob. Yeah, you got it. I'm going to put that up there right now for you. Just let that sink in. He is definitely an Iron Man. But you know what I love most about this list? That they put him ahead of Jordan Love and Jared Goff. Those knuckleheads over at ESPN. And I was really disappointed in Courtney Cronin because she was with the Vikings for like 4 years. It's like, really? You're going to take Jared Goff over Kirk Cousins if you had to take one of the 4 quarterbacks from this division to win one game? These fools talking about Justin Fields. You know what? I've said it. I like Justin Fields. I do. Not just because I got the same name. I like the guy. I think he's had not much to work with in Chicago. But I'm not ready to anoint him just yet. He's not on the fast track to the Hall of Fame just yet. But right now, above Kirk Cousins, no. So Kirk, absolutely, deservedly so, that you're in the top 50 of the NFL players. And I'll say this right now. My next one is Justin Jefferson, so I'll kind of mesh these two themes together. I get it. It's practice. It's 7-on-7 drills where, like, Kirk Cousins is in God mode when he's in 7-on-7. He has no pressure on him. And even in 11-on-11 where, you know, you can't touch him. But he is absolutely on fire in training camp. I put some videos up, but I don't want to take the chance of YouTube getting too mad at me, so I'm not going to do that. But this guy and Justin Jefferson are on a whole nother level. I might have to finally put Kirk Cousins ahead of Dante Culpepper after the season if he keeps looking the way he does. I'm going to say that right now. I never thought I'd say it. The next guy, not that there's much news about this, but if y'all don't know by now, Justin Jefferson isn't one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He is the best wide receiver in the NFL. You know, earlier I had said, you know, maybe him and Jamar Chase, you can make an argument for it. There's no argument for it. Now, to be clear, I'm not a total homer here. Every team and every fan base is looking at media showing pictures of training camp where their offenses are making plays after plays after plays. I get it. I know. But daggone it. I heard Judd Zolgad yesterday on the emergency podcast they did after the Danielle Hunter signing where he was going over his camp notes. And he's like, if I could talk to Justin Jefferson right now, you know what I'd say? I'd say, slow down, dude. You don't need to be going 140 miles an hour. Yeah, 140. I digress. We'll leave that to Addison. But anyway, Justin Jefferson's out there like he's playing in an NFC Championship game, and it's just practice. You're talking about practice, not a game, but practice. Justin Jefferson is just absolutely in God mode right now. I mean, I get it. Andrew Booth Jr. is probably going to need to see the counselor that Kirk Cousins sees after just getting destroyed a handful of times by JJ. And, very few corners in the NFL don't get destroyed by Justin Jefferson. But at the same time, I'm going to say this about this contract situation with Justin Jefferson, and I'm going to get off this to my next topic. Who cares that Justin Jefferson is not signed yet? If it ends up costing the Vikings a little bit more money, so be it. I don't care. I'm sick of hearing about the contract right now, and I'll tell you why. If this was this time next year, I would definitely be concerned, as we all should be. But he still got this year, and he still got next year where he's under contract. You have all kinds of negotiating going on right now. How much money are we going to give you? All of it? Okay, not quite. How much of it's going to be guaranteed? All of it? Okay, not quite, but close enough. How much is going to be guaranteed for injury? How are we going to structure this? How much of this is going to be a signing bonus? How are we going to finagle the salary cap? All of this legal mumbo jumbo has to happen in order for this contract to get done. And it's not a big deal because Justin Jefferson, with all due respect to Randy Moss and all due respect to Stephon Diggs, and to a certain extent, before he got it all figured out, Chris Carter, Justin Jefferson is not a diva wide receiver. He is fine. I love the leadership that this guy displayed when he was asked, "Hey, what's going on with your contract?" I let my agent handle that. I don't deal with that. I'm here to play football. I'm here to try to win a Super Bowl. We talk about Kirk Cousins' leadership. All's well we should, and that's all well and good. But Justin Jefferson putting the kibosh on that immediately when questioned about his contract situation, saying, "No, we're not talking about that. Don't ask me about it again. When it happens, it happens." Kind of like Kirk Cousins last week when he was asked about, "Hey, you heard about your contract yet?" Even though he had already said that we're going to deal with it in March, what did Kirk Cousins do? I told my agent, call me when there's something to talk about. And until then, don't bother calling me. And I'm okay with that. I give props to those two, both Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, saying, hey, we're not going to let this be a distraction. With all due respect to Danielle Hunter, I'm not going to begrudge him getting his money, but he was a distraction for about a week and a half. Technically, he's been a distraction since he skipped voluntary workouts, but whatever. Nobody cares all that much about that. But Justin Jefferson, not only are you the top dog on the field, you're the top dog off the field as well. Jaren Hall. Welcome to the NFL, rookie. Jaren Hall for Thursday and Friday looked outstanding. So much so that the media members were like, wow, Jaren Hall had some great passes. Now, it was 3s against 3s, but we've seen other third-string quarterbacks that didn't do diddly-poo with their opportunities before, and this kid looked really good. Well, this weekend, he kind of came crashing back to earth. Now, at the end of the day, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The one thing I want to see out of training camp is I want to see Jaren Hall win the backup quarterback position. Why? Well, because I know what we got in Nick Mullins, which is a whole lot of not much. When Kirk got injured, what they do? They threw a screen pass. They didn't trust him to even hand off the ball, for crying out loud. If by some chance Iron Man Kirk Cousins does get injured, at the end of the day, I'd rather see Jaren Hall out there. I know what Nick Mullins is. And, if you're playing a terrible team, Nick Mullins might be able to just squeeze out a victory. But I want to see Jaren Hall develop really, really bad. And this is not an anti-Kirk thing because, yes, the best case scenario that Jaren Hall is ready to take over next year and Kirk goes on his merry way, I seriously doubt that's going to happen. But one thing I do want to see is I want to see Jaren Hall win this backup quarterback situation. I don't think it's going to happen, but it looked good for 2 days anyway. And at the end of it, I love his leadership too. When he was interviewed, they asked him a lot of questions, very loquacious, very elegant with his answers. He wasn't confused. He acted like he had been there for 10 years, saying the right things. Hey, I'm just here to learn the playbook. I'm here to pick the brain of Kirk Cousins and Nick Mullins. I'm here to soak up all as much information as I can. I'm here to learn the differences between college offenses and the NFL. Bravo. Now, that might not turn into much ado about anything. That's true. He can say all the right things. But for right now, I love what I'm seeing with this guy. I really am. He's not John David Booty. He's not Taylor Heineke. He's not Kyle Sloter. And he for dang sure isn't Kellen Mond. Now, again, that's kind of damning him with faint praise. But at the same time, I like what I'm seeing from this guy. Back to the comments here. I'm getting stacked up again before I get to my last topic. So let's flip it back to this here real quick. what you guys got going on for me. What you got going on here? Yogi's in the building. What's up, Yogi? I'm going to text you later. I got to get you to make me an intro. I was looking for an intro earlier, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I'm not using that one from 7 months ago. That just was terrible. That I kind of just threw together, but yeah, okay. Yeah, I suppose that's possible. Yes, Dave. Going solo is quite a different experience. I should have asked you if you wanted to come on tonight, but just follow won't let me DM you. All right, I'll follow you back. I thought my DMs were open, but I'll follow you back after the show, Northfield. I'll follow you back. Oh, yeah, circling back, the national media is going way too far with this Justin Fields thing. Listen, as I said, I like Justin Fields, and I think he's got untapped potential. I think he's been dealt a very bad hand in Chicago, but yes, the way they are over the top on both Fields and Jared Goff is utterly ridiculous. There's Yogi. I knew he was in there somewhere. What's up, my brother? If y'all don't subscribe to Purple Rain 247 after the show, hit him up. Hit that subscribe button. He's part of the Vikings First and Purple and SKOL media family. See, I'm always going to mess that up. I got Purple and Gold for days, Purple and SKOL media, and Vikings First and SKOL. One of these days, after about 5 years, I might have them right. Anyway. I had that in my notes, and I forgot to. He's not human. Justin Jefferson is not human. I said when people were already saying he was better than Randy Moss, and I know Chris Carter is one of them that said that. With all due respect to CC, Hall of Famer Chris Carter, I get it. You are one of the top 3 wide receivers of all time. He's not better than Randy Moss yet. That's what I said 6 months ago when people were already trying to put him ahead of me. He needs like 2 more seasons, and then he's in the conversation. Now, granted, you have to adjust for the errors. You can't just say, well, when Justin Jefferson's yardage is 1 yard higher than Randy Moss's, that makes him better than Randy Moss. No, it doesn't. Randy Moss transcended the league and he changed the league. We're talking about 1998 versus 2020. 22 years of evolution of football. You can't just look yardage for yardage, but this guy's getting there. I thought maybe if he was here for 10 years, okay, then I'll put him in Randy's category. He's getting there. He might only need like 2 or 3, 4 years. I agree, Sarah. I put Justin Jefferson in bubble wrap. I don't know why. Yes. Slow down, kid. Slow down. Don't get yourself hurt. I love when he caught that touchdown pass after he juked out Booth and he kind of did the gritty for the fans and kind of did the little shimmy at the end and waved to him. I'll tell you what. This guy's special. All right, Mateo, you brought it up. I was still taking Culpepper over Kirk. Yes, so would I. For now. But even as the staunch Dante supporter, and let's remind people of what Dante did and didn't have, kind of like Kirk. People want to say, well, Kirk hasn't had a good defense. Well, he did in 18 and 19. But even I got to say, the way Kirk is going, he might have finally figured it out. Not saying it's there yet, but he might have finally figured it out. Thought you were going to jump the shark. No, not yet. No. Absolutely not, Ditter. I'm not there yet. I do not let myself get caught up in recency bias. They're right there. 80 and 84. I said to myself, how am I going to set this up when I started doing this? I said, I'm going to surround myself with the 2 greatest wide receivers in Vikings history. Right now, it's Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Anthony Carter. Those 3, for sure. Then I go Ahmad Rashad. Now, I know somebody say, Ahmad Rashad? Yeah, Ahmad Rashad. This is back in the 70s and 80s. So even more evolution. But I'm about to put Justin Jefferson ahead of Adam Thielen. If he has one more season like this, I'm about to put him ahead of Jake Reed. But after Ahmad Rashad and Gene Washington, that's where I got, Jake Reed and Adam Thielen. So he's barking on that Mount Rushmore. It's going to take him a few more years before I get him up to CC and Moss's level, despite the fact that CC has already put him over there, but that's all right. Oh, Sarah, don't get me started on that. Packers fan thinks Watson is the next Moss. Yeah. And I think I'm the next George. I think I'm the next Denzel Washington, Sarah. What do you think? No. Watson. I was at that game week 1 last year, and I saw how wide open he was. He had just burned Patrick Peterson. Troy Williamson on that. So, no. And that fool tried to say that Watson has a higher ceiling than Justin Jefferson. Get out of here with that. Stop with the cap. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Dinner, don't say it. He said Kirk will down week 13 and Hall does his best for it in the playoffs. Well, You know, Tom Brady didn't start the year he won his first Super Bowl. Drew Bledsoe did, and Bledsoe got hurt. So it's happened. Not going to bet my life on it, though. Hall might be QB3, but I also think he should. Yes, I agree. That's my thing, because I'd rather see what Hall has. And I dare say that right now Nick Mullins has a higher floor than Jaren Hall. Breaking news. Yeah, how about that? But I also think that Hall might have a higher ceiling. I'd rather see a guy with a higher ceiling, even if he does have a lower floor. Mary's back in the building, and I was about to say, you cracked the chorus, didn't you, Mary? Well, you got my answer there. Thanks for joining again. Goals. All right. Got a question from the audience. Yeah, put some questions in there for me, you guys. I'm almost done with my themes, and then we'll sit and chill for a little bit. Then I'll go over the schedule. Do you think Jordan Love will do for the Packers? Here's what I want. I want the Packers to win 6 games, because I predicted that on Write That Down. I said they'd win 6 games or less. But I don't want the Packers to go 2-4, 2-15 and get Caleb Williams. So what we want is we want the Packers to suck. We don't want them to suck too bad to where they get Caleb Williams. So win 6 games. But as I said, by the way, if you haven't seen my video called Optimist versus Pessimist, where I did the bit where one of me is ultra positive and Vikings are going to win 13 games, and the other one was the curmudgeon that's always negative, that keeps it real for you. It's called Optimist versus Pessimist. I'm going to try to do that during the season. I don't know if I'll have enough time to do it every week, but I'm going to try to do that once in a while. But both the optimist and the pessimist think that the Vikings are going to destroy the Packers. My prediction on Write That Down was that the Vikings will sweep the Packers, and our combined point differential will be at least 28 points between the 2 games. I don't think the Packers are going to be all that good. Every year we keep saying, well, this Packers defense is actually pretty good. And then they end up finishing, slightly above middle of the pack, no pun intended. But as far as Jordan Love, I don't see it. I don't see it. When I saw Aaron Rodgers back up Brett Favre, I could say, you know what? He doesn't have it yet, but he's got something. Jordan Love has shown us nothing. Yeah, okay, he looked good in that Philly game when he was down by 2 touchdowns the whole time, was playing in garbage time. Big deal. Reports out of Packers camp is kind of like reports from Jaren Hall. There's days where he looks outstanding, and there's days he looks like total dog doo-doo. So, no, I'm not afraid of the Packers whatsoever. I'm not afraid of Jordan Love being the 3rd Hall of Fame quarterback in a row. I'm not. Maybe I just kiss of death the Vikings because I just said there's no chance. But no, I don't see it from Jordan Love. I really don't. But thanks for the question, Gary. Keep them coming, you guys. Paul, what's going on? Shout out Paul in the building. What's going on? Yes, Randy had the touchdowns. Yeah. And that's, honestly, I'm not sure if you were referring to Justine Jefferson or if you're referring to Christian Watson, because Christian Watson's the next Randy Moss. But yes, that's the one thing. And I think and that's something Judge Zalgett said too. It's like Justine Jefferson is working on his not getting tackled at the 1-yard line game, where he's finding ways to twist himself and dive better into the end zone. Because you're right, he's a little short on touchdowns, but I'm not worried about it. This guy's just on another level right now. Tony, I love you, brother. And I'm going to have you on 1 week, or maybe more than 1 week. But one quarterback going to Ohio State doesn't mean anything. No wide receiver should ever be drafted out of Ole Miss ever again, because Laquan Treadwell was a bust. Let's come on. It's coincidence. It doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of quarterbacks that get put into systems that make them look better that don't translate to the NFL, but it has nothing to do with the school. At least it's not the end-all be-all. I agree with you, Sarah. If Kirk proves me wrong, I will gladly apologize to all the Kirk stands. I said this on my Tuesday night show with Dave a couple weeks ago, because he was like, you just want Kirk Cousins to fail so you can be right. No. I want Kirk Cousins to prove me wrong. I said it a bazillion times. If Kirk Cousins brought us a Lombardi trophy, I would help build the statue of Kirk Cousins. So no, I will not say that I want Cousins to fail so that I can be right, that Kirk Cousins won't win a Super Bowl for us. That's definitely not what I want. I want to be wrong. And I even said, if Kirk Cousins won us a Super Bowl, I'd have to sit there on Tuesday nights for like 4 hours for like 8 weeks straight to listen to how Dave is telling me how wrong I was. And I'd be happy to do so. I'd be like, yeah, I was wrong. So I'm with you. I want Kirk Cousins to fail. Get out of here with that mess. Randy was different, but I much prefer JJ's attitude. Yes, that gets back to what I said about earlier about his leadership skills. In fact, I did a video on Friday about that too, so check that out if you didn't see it. But Justine Jefferson is exactly what you want a sports athlete to be. You want him to be otherworldly on the field or on the court, but you want him to be an otherworldly human being, and he is. He doesn't let the success go to his head. He doesn't let anything bother him. I don't care about my contract. I'll let my agent handle it. I'm going to be here. Yeah, a lot of people were upset that he skipped volunteers. So what? Well, it's not showing leadership. He's showing leadership now, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the kind of leadership I want to see from him. Not showing up to a meaningless camp. Vikings Jerome, shout out to you. What's up? It's been a minute. Saw you last week. Thanks again for coming in tonight. We appreciate you guys. All right, I got one more thing. Dylan in the building. What's going on? Thanks, Dylan. Ice-T. For those of you who don't know, Rap says I look like Ice-T. I don't know. I like IT's bank account. But I digress. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you as always. Yes. Thank you, Rhino, for echoing that. As much as we'd love to see them go 0-17, we don't want them to hit Jalen Williams. They need to be bad, but not too bad. Let them suffer in mediocrity for about 10 years. Let them be a 6 to 9 win team where they celebrate a 9-win season like the Detroit Lions celebrated it. You remember when Detroit beat Green Bay? We were all happy Detroit beat Green Bay in the last game of the season to keep the Packers out of the playoffs. But they celebrated like they done won something, which is what all the teams say we do, apparently, which I don't agree with at all. But let the Packers burn and suffer, not in the wilderness, but in mediocrity. Because you know what? Being in the middle and being mediocre at times is worse than being bad. It really is. Gone on that rant a few times, so I won't do it here tonight. And I agree. No team in the NFC North scares me. And I agree with you, Rhino. That's a good comp, Rhino. Thank you. Sam Don, absolutely. D Will's in the house. What's good? No, not much. I'm going 42 minutes by myself. I'm going to try to do this every Monday night. I don't know if I'm going to go a full hour every Monday night or not, but you know what? It brings up a good time. Let me get to my last theme. What kind of stats do you think Edison gets? I don't know yet, Gary. And at the moment, I don't care. All I care about is that the offense as a whole is successful and consistent. JJ's going to get his. Hawkins is going to get his. And again, KJ Osborne's not just going to waltz on out of the way and let Jordan Addison take the number 2 spot. I'll tell you what. Let's talk about 98. Yeah, Jake Reed and Chris Carter, both Pro Bowl receivers, both 1,000-yard receivers. Randy Moss was the third wide receiver up until the Thanksgiving Day game. That was the first game that Randy Moss started as the number 2. Yes, there were games Randy Moss started when they started with 3 wide receivers, but that Thanksgiving Day game, say that 3 times fast, ladies and gentlemen. That was his first start as the number 2. Jake Reed didn't step out of his way. Now, Randy Moss got a lot of catches and yards and touchdowns, but that's part of the reason why 3 deep was so lethal before Jake got hurt. Because you had Randy as your third wide receiver. So Jordan Addison, you know what? I'm okay with him being third because they're going to run enough 3 wide receiver sets anyway. So it's not going to matter. So what kind of stats? If I had to put the over-under at 850 yards, I'd probably say less than 850, but I think he's going to get about 7 or 8 touchdowns. Probably have about 70 catches, somewhere in there. But if Jordan Addison doesn't end up being a 1,000-yard wide receiver, that's okay because that means Jefferson and TJ are doing their thing and that KJ Osborne is balling out. And guess what? As much as I hate to say this, I think this is KJ Osborne's last season with the Vikings. I know that's not breaking news because, if he does well enough, he's going to earn a bigger contract with another team that we can't afford to have because we got Addison in the wings and because we're going to have an incredibly tight salary cap next year. Everybody keep talking about, the Vikings are freeing up money. Like, not if they re-sign Cousins, not if they re-sign Danielle Hunter, not if they bring back Marcus Davenport. So, KJ, unfortunately, will probably get squeezed. So I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he balls out, and we wish him well. I'm not, trying to pour dirt on his grave or anything like that, but I'm just saying it is kind of what it is at this point. I don't know what you meant. I don't know if you're talking to me or in the comments, so I'm going to let that one go. If I missed something that you were asking me, then ask me again. Thank you, SKOL Mafia. How many likes I got? I don't even know. That's the thing. when I'm with Dave or I'm with Rap, I can look at these things and I can see what's going on, but I can't see it right now. So for that, yeah, hit that like button. And if you don't already subscribe, hit the subscribe button to me as well. Trying to get up to 1,000 by the season start. I don't think I'll get there, but let me get to at least 700 before the season starts, or maybe 750. Come on, y'all. Help me out. Hit that like button. Share it. Tweet it. Tell your friends. Say you got coworkers that, like the Vikings. Say, hey, I got this guy, Justin, in Rochester. He's been a fan for 44 years. He's been alive for 44 years. Tell him about Purple and Gold for days. Purple and Gold Media, Vikings versus Gold, Purple Pocket Podcast. Tell them about everybody. Let's grow this community, as Dave says. Hey, when one of us wins, we all win. Vikings Uncensored, everybody get the subscribes up. Let's go. Yeah, my wife knows. You talking to me, Bob? Or you talking to somebody in the chat? You're going to have to let me know because I'm not sure about how I feel. But yes, thank you. This one right here. Be like they were from the late 60s after Vince Lombardi left all the way until Brett Favre got there. Yes. 2 decades of walking in the wilderness for the Packers. Absolutely. Jordan loves the next Nicky. Carter and Reed was nice yesterday. Greg, what's going on? Shout out to my boy Greg in the building. Thank you kindly, G-Mac. Appreciate you, man. I really do. I appreciate all you guys. I finally said, you know what? I do a lot of collaborations with Rap and Dave and SK and the other Dave. It's like, you know what? I got to go live by myself just to see what's going on. See if I can handle it for as long as I can. But who's it? Yes, I did get a nice bump when I was on Score Notes. So anybody in here for the first time that came over and saw me on Score Notes, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Leave me comments on my videos. Even if you don't like them, leave comments. Even if it's good job or you suck or hey, good vid, whatever. Because that helps the algorithm pick up on stuff. So yes, hit those like buttons on the videos, leave comments. Or do what Jim NFL 7 does, where he just writes comments of something completely unrelated to what the video actually was. Or I love my worthless opinion. Obligatory YouTube algorithm comments. Whatever the case may be, we'll take all comers. And I know Rhino would say the same thing. Both Daves and Reps will all say the same thing. Hey, we appreciate the guys' interaction. Yes, it is kind of fun. Hey, Dave, where you at? Or hey, Rap, what do you think? Oh, wait, you guys ain't here. It's just me. Hey, Darian, what's going on, man? Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. I really do. Will the Cincinnati kid be a starter? I'm assuming you mean Ivan Pace. He's not going to be a starter. If he does, I'll be pleasantly shocked. It's funny. East Coast Gridiron made a bet with Rap that Ivan Pace Jr. would not even make the Vikings roster. Where are you at, East Coast? I'm calling you out, East Coast. Because I wanted to get in on that bet, and he wouldn't. He's like, nah, I got $100 with Rap. I don't even make it. Like, if you're so confident that you bet Rap $100, he wouldn't make the team. Why don't you bet me? Yeah, I asked him again yesterday, and he's like, nah, I ain't getting in on that. My neighbors are already prepared. Prepared for what, Mary? Tell them what you got going on, Mary. Now that's right. Where they hear you screaming when the Vikings came back and beat the Buffalo Bills. I know what you're talking about, Mary. I know what you're talking about. Bears fans said they had the best wide receiver core in the NFL. Get out of here. They did not. Sarah, you're making that up, Sarah. Sarah, you are making that up. Yes, Rhino does get Lance fired up. He just, if Rhino had a swear jar for when they go live with Lance, I think Rhino would be rich. I'm not even kidding. I getting back to Ivan Pace, I love Ivan Pace. I did a quick video after the draft. I'm just like, how did this guy go undrafted? But we got this guy. I know he's a very good against the run guy, and he's a pretty mediocre in pass coverage. But Brian Flores got something for him. Brian Flores will have something for him. We'll be all right. I like that guy. I really do. He just blows plays up. And we need that. We need some hard hitters. I mean, after last year in the Ed Donoshell defense, in fact, why am I still talking about it and not putting up the banner for my final theme of the night anyway? No nonsense. Brian Flores. Now listen. Offense looked good against the defense in camp. Why? Because that's always how it is. The defense is playing with one hand tied behind their back. Playing 7-on-7 with no pass rush, of course Kirk Cousins is going to tear you apart, no matter who you got out there. But the fact that twice this year, offensive players have said, how different the defense looks when they're going up against them in practice is a good sign on two fronts. It's a good sign that the defense is not just going to sit there and let the other team's offense pick them apart left and right. And you know what else is good about it? It gives our offense an opportunity to play against a halfway decent defense to actually prepare them for the opponents they're going to face. Best move of the offseason was bringing in Flores. That was the best move of the offseason. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you as always. I'm gonna have you on sometime. We'll do this. We talked about it. We'll do it. I'm gonna say this. Harrison Smith, he's gonna be back to the Zim Reaper type Harrison Smith. I'm not worried about him at all. I'm looking for Harrison Smith to just tear people apart. I really am. Byron Murphy, he'll be the starter, obviously. The opposite from Byron Murphy is going to be interesting. Right now, Jojuan Williams. I'm just gonna call him JJW moving forward because I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. But JJ Williams, he's not just letting this rookie guy just take the spot. He's making a case to be the starting quarterback opposite Byron Murphy. And that's a good thing. Because you know what? I don't necessarily like putting a rookie cornerback, unless he's like Deion Sanders or somebody, in as a starter right away. And that's a good thing because we got a lot of questions in our cornerback core. We really do. All due respect, I like Caleb Evans a lot, but I don't know that we can trust him to not get hurt. Had 3 concussions last season alone. He had concussions before that. And with all due respect to Andrew Booth Jr., listen, you got a lot further than I ever did. You're playing in the NFL, but I don't know. I don't know about this guy. Put it in the comments. You think I'm overreacting to Andrew Booth Jr.? I know he got burned by JJ, but he just doesn't look like he's got it. And like I said, I've said this all offseason. I expect nothing from Andrew Booth Jr. because I'm just banking on him getting injured again. And that way, if you get something from Andrew Booth Jr., it's called found money. It's called found money. I'll say this. Brian Flores, best move of the offseason. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to jump up and down and say he's going to take this to a top 10 defense, but he's going to take this defense to respectability. I've used this line before. I'll use it here tonight. This defense was unwatchable. This defense was as unwatchable as the Chile offense with any quarterback not named Brett Favre. Remember when Chile got here? We had Brooks Bollinger and Kelly Holcomb and Tavares Jackson. Other than Adrian Peterson, the offense was unwatchable. And that's what our defense was last year. You knew that this other teams were just going to go up and down the field on them. And for the first 2/3 of the season, they got away with it. But eventually the NFL caught up to it and said, are you seeing this? That's the middle of the field. It is? Yeah. Well, it shouldn't be that wide open. Well, it was over and over and over again. Brian Flores ain't going to let that happen. Brian Flores is going to get this defense to a point where, yes, it's going to get stops. It's going to get turnovers. And it's going to get burned, too. I've said that. There's going to be times where Brian Flores is going to be over-aggressive and it's going to result in a 65-yard touchdown run or a 65-yard touchdown pass. And I'd rather take a quick death than a slow and painful one. But, like I said, Andrew Booth Jr., I hope I'm wrong about you, just like I hope I'm wrong about Cousins and everything else. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. Bob, second best one of the night is on the washables eating contest. All right. On the side, another 48-year-old guy with bad knees. I'm their guy. Yeah, I ain't far behind you, man. I ain't far behind you. My friend's band used to do the smoking trees. There you go. What's worse? Oh, that's a good one, Sarah. What's worse, Eagles fans or last? Oh, no, Eagles fans. Eagles fans is always the right answer. And I know it's not all of them. That's fine. But it's some of them. I'm going to throw a full beer bottle at you because I'm a tough guy because I'm from Philadelphia. And I cheer for my sports teams like they're the Army or something. Here's the thing about Philly fans. I'm going to go on this rant here now, so y'all can thank Sarah for this. The thing about Philly fans is this. They play in the backyard of New York and Boston. You know, sports towns that have won championship after championship after championship. Boston got the Boston Celtics all by themselves more than what Philly got. But they got the Celtics, they got the Red Sox, they got the Bruins, Red Sox, and the Patriots. Anyway, so Boston wins titles. New York, they got the Yankees. They got the Giants and the Jets. They got the Rangers and the Islanders, teams that have won championships. And then there's cute little Philadelphia that wants to try to play bully. See, that's the thing. New York and Boston are the bullies of the East Coast playground, and Philadelphia tries to be the third bully on the playground when it's like, no. New York and Boston get to be bullies because they win stuff. Philly's like the fake bully. It's like, when these two bullies ain't around, I'm going to bully everybody else. Okay. It's not sports fandom, and it's not showing how much of a tough person you are. It's one thing. Listen, I went to the Packers game opening weekend last year. There's some Packer fans there. Yeah, a little trash talking here or there. Packers suck, Vikings suck, whatever. But it was cordial. We laugh at each other. It's like, hey, how's it doing? And at the end of the game, during the game, every time we heard a go Pack, go chant, we all chanted, go back home. That's what you do when you're at a Packers game, ladies and gentlemen. They start chanting, go Pack, go, you say, go back home. And as we were walking out, everybody, go back home. And they were smiling, laughing at us, be like, hey, congratulations, you won your Super Bowl. I'll sit down at the bar and have a beer with a Packer fan any day of the week. We love to hate them. They're our rivals, but I don't hate the Packers the way I hate Al-Qaeda, okay? That's not the same kind of hate. Philly fans, I'm not saying I hate them as much as I hate Al-Qaeda, but I hate them more than Packer fans because they're just unbearable. They just talk trash for the sake of talking trash, and it's not fun. It's fun talking trash with Bears fans and Packers fans. It's not fun talking trash with Philly fans. I'm not saying it's all Philly fans. Don't get me wrong. Dave and I had a content creator, Mitch. He's a good dude. We had him on a few weeks back. We're going to have him on. We're going to try to have him on Tuesday night before the Eagles game. He was a good dude. He's respectable. He wasn't like the guy that would throw a beer can at you. Throwing beer cans at people. Oh, we're a tough guy. We're making it tough on you. Shut up. Anyway, thanks, Sarah, for getting me on that Philly kick. What am I most looking forward to, Nick? I'm most looking forward to Kirk Cousins. And yeah, I said it. And some people will be like, Justin, you going soft on me. We got to curb stomp him. No, we give Kirk credit when he deserves credit. We give him, we stomp him when he deserves to be stomped. I'm most looking forward to Kirk Cousins, particularly if the Vikings sign Dalton Risner. Because you know what? Sink or swim this year, Kirk Cousins. We taking away all the excuses. We taking away all the pitfalls. It's on you now. Show the world what you got. Show the world week 2 what you got in Philly. Show the world what you got against Patrick Mahomes, the guy you shot up the documentary with, who said you're the most underrated quarterback. If you're the most underrated quarterback, when you got Patrick Mahomes in your house, beat him. And I'll be like, okay, now you're showing me something. I'm looking forward to Kirk being in the same system for the second year in a row. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, I'm looking forward to going in a different direction. But I'm looking forward to a resolution this season. Either we know, yes, he's finally figured it out, or we know he's never going to figure it out. That's what I'm most looking forward to, honestly. And contrary to popular opinion on my Tuesday night co-host, I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to succeed because I want the Vikings to win the Super Bowl before I die. And if Kirk Cousins can be the one to do it, I don't care. Let me put it this way. When the Vikings signed Brett Favre, I didn't want Brett Favre. Screw Brett Favre and screw the Packers. I was in high school when Brett Favre was in his prime, winning the Super Bowl and going to a second one and winning 3 straight MVPs. I hated Brett Favre. I didn't want him here. I accepted him because once he signed with the team and he put on that purple and gold jersey, he's a member of my team. But I said it the day he signed. I said he's going to get us to the NFC Championship game and he's going to screw it up. And gosh darn it, did he not? Now, there was other things. I know. AP fumble, Barry fumble, Harvard fumble, the cheating thing. That's all well and good. But if I can get behind Brett Favre, you for dang sure better believe I'll get behind Kirk Cousins. I'm just saying. I don't want any more excuses. I don't want there to be, well, the defense this. Well, the offensive line that. Well, it's not his fault. I want him to take the bull by the horns and say, you know what? I'm Kirk Cousins, and I'm winning this Super Bowl. I didn't just put this thing in my house in Michigan for the sake of putting it in there. I put it in there because I want a Super Bowl. And you know what? He's showing us something. He has evolved. He is not the same guy that he was when Mike Zimmer was here. The Kirk stands want to tell you that Kirk is the same as he was before. No, he's not. In fact, you're doing a disservice to your guy if you try to say he's the same as what he was before. He's absolutely more than what he was before. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. What's up? Oh, whoops. NFL Youngest GM, I think it's the first time I've seen you, so thank you kindly for joining. I appreciate you, man. Hit that sub button if you haven't hit it already. And everybody hit that like button for me if you could. I've heard a lot of people say our O-line sucks. I believe it's one of our strong suits. We have, in my opinion. Okay, all right. All right, good take. I agree with half of it. We have really good tackles. We have a mediocre at best interior between our guards and our center, which is why Dalton Risner is being flown in here and why I hope he signs. Here's the thing. When you have a unit of 5 players, it doesn't matter how strong your 2 strongest are. It matters how weak your weakest is. You could have 2 Pro Bowl tackles and a Pro Bowl guard, but if your center is Mickey Mouse and your other guard is Minnie Mouse, your whole line, it's not about taking an average. It's not about your strongest link, it's about your weakest link. You can have a chain, your weakest link in the chain. You use whatever cliche you want to use. I agree. You got the best tackle duo if O'Neal is healthy, mind you that. But the problem isn't how strong our strongest players are. It's how weak the weakest ones are. And the interior, the offensive line. And the problem with the interior being so weak, I just got done praising Kirk Cousins, but I'm going to say, I keep it real with you. Kirk Cousins, at sometimes, he makes your interior offensive line look worse than it already might be anyway. Everybody wants to say, well, the Vikings have never put a good interior offensive line for Kirk Cousins, and Washington didn't either. Did it ever occur to anybody that part of Kirk Cousins and his play is what makes it difficult to put a good interior offensive line in front of him? I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm just saying it is what it is. Okay. So good take, though, Youngest GM. Thanks again for joining, and thanks for your comment. Put some more in there. And like I said, hit the sub button if you haven't already. What else do we got here? Oh, that's all my themes. So let's get rid of that one. Oops, didn't want to go that far. I'm still learning this solo thing now that I'm starting to do this production thing. We hit an hour. It's been an hour already? Has it really been an hour, ladies and gentlemen? No, it's 9:01, so it has been. Okay. Let's get the schedule up here. I'm not going to display it. I tried to do the share screen and it looked like garbage, so I'm not going to do it here. So, again, these will be posted on Twitter pages. These will be posted on YouTube pages. I want to give you guys the quick rundown of what your schedule is going to be like during the NFL football season. So, we got Purple and SKOL Media. We got Purple Pocket Podcast, Minnesota Sports Talk, GG Sports Talk, Purple and Gold for Days. That's what you're tuned into right now. Vikings First and SKOL, who I'm affiliated with. I got some podcasts going up on their feed, and I'm going to be joining them on some select post-game shows as well. Let's go with this. Monday, 6 o'clock Central Time. You got Vikings First and SKOL. You got the Real Forno Show. You didn't see their show tonight. Judd Zolgad was on breaking down the Dalton Risner news, so go check it out if you haven't already. On Purple and SKOL Media at 6:30, 6:35-ish, we got A Day with Mike and Kyla. That's myself, Kyla, and Mike Castellino, the king of Vikings Twitter Spaces. We do a show on the Purple and SKOL Media page, exclusively to that. 7 o'clock, we got a doubleheader. You got GG Sports Talk, and you got Rhino's Rants on Vikings Uncensored. And that's the great thing about YouTube. You can watch one show live and go back and watch the next one later. At 8 o'clock Central Time, you got SKOL for Days. And that's the one you tuned into right now on Purple and Gold for Days. So that's just Monday. Now Tuesday, we got Dave doing the doubleheader. We got Under the Lights at 6:30 with myself and Minnesota Sports Talk. Under the Lights, we have guests on usually. Sometimes it's fellow Vikings content creators. Occasionally, we have interviewed former Viking players. We interviewed Paul Krause. We've twice interviewed Chuck Foreman, we've interviewed twice, and we've interviewed Greg Coleman once. So we have a little bit of old school, a little bit of new school. So having former Viking player on, Dave does a great job of setting that up. Now that's going to go from 6:30 to 7:30. We're only going to go an hour. I know in the off season, Dave and I sometimes went for 3-4 hours sometimes because returning to Purple and SKOL Media is SKOL Live with Rap and Dave. Yes, Rap is going to have his turn going at Dave about Kirk Cousins. He can handle it for a while, but in all seriousness there. So we got 2 shows on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we got the Real Forno Show again. We got the premiere of Brunswick's Best on Vikings Uncensored. And at 7 o'clock, both of those are at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, the SKOL Experience, which is a crossover simulcast on Minnesota Sports Talk and GG Sports. Thursday, on Purple and SKOL Media, GG Sports makes their return, so they go back-to-back nights with Purple Parlay. Now, it's either going to be at 6 or 6:30. I haven't nailed down the time yet, but they're going to do a show exclusively about fantasy football. Viking-centric, but NFL. Do a little DraftKings to get you ready for Thursday Night Football. Friday, 6 o'clock, Vikings Uncensored. 7 o'clock, Vibe with Me. That's from Mike Sports Vibe. That's at 7 o'clock. Saturday, 2 old bloggers on First and SKOL, Vikings First and SKOL. That's at 4 o'clock Central Time. On Purple and SKOL Media, we got the SKOL Report with SK, Rap, and Yogi. And then the new show that is all the rage. And it gets spicy. And they have guests on. And that's Purple in the Zone. And that is Yogi's page. That is Mike Sports Vibe. And that is In the Zone. And I'll tell you what, they have people on. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to have some times where I'm going to say, hey, if anybody wants to come on with me for a few minutes, give me a take, like they do on Purple Daily's vent line, where, hey, you got 3 minutes, give me your take. I haven't decided yet, but they do on a Saturday night, the night before the game. It gets wild, ladies and gentlemen. It gets wild. Sunday game day, Purple and SKOL pregame at 10:30, Purple and Gold pregame, that's me, at 11 o'clock. And then we get into postgame, and this is where it gets fun. Vikings First and SKOL postgame starts at the 2-minute warning, no matter what the score is. 2-minute warning, they go live. Purple and SKOL postgame show, 6:30 Central Time, and the headliner of all headliners. It is the return of the crossover of Purple Pocket Podcast and Purple and Gold for Days. That's right, me and Rap, 8 o'clock Central Time on game nights. Going to do a postgame show. And if there was some spice on the Saturday night, you better believe there's going to be some spice on the Sunday night as well. I know. I hope you didn't take notes because we're just going to have it posted. We're going to get it out there for everybody. But if you don't already subscribe to all the channels, hit up the channels. As soon as the show is over, I'm going to edit out the description of this show. Put all the channels in there for you. So please subscribe to everybody. Hit the like buttons. Leave comments. The whole thing. You guys all know this. I'm at 1 hour and 6 minutes. I still got 22 people in the building. I never thought it'd be possible. I started doing the solo thing about mid-October, and I remember the first couple live shows that I did, and there's like 4 or 5 people there. Nah, I got 20 the whole time. I love you guys. I honestly do. I said this on Dave's show, and Rhino has said this, and we all say this. We appreciate you guys more than we can say to you. We honestly do. You know, I've always said that this YouTube thing makes it cool that you got Vikings fans from all over the country, all over the world. I spoke to a guy who commented on one of my videos. He's coming to week 1. He's going to go to the Gophers game on Saturday night. He's going to try to come to SKOL Fest Saturday night late. And then he's going to go to the Vikings game. And he is from Scotland. He and his wife coming from Scotland. Okay? Let that sink into you. I don't know where y'all are from. I know some of y'all from South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, California, all over the place. The fact that this technology allows, used to be you could go to your bar, sit there and talk with your buddies or whatever. The fact that I can sit here and talk to you guys about the Vikings and my passion for that, and the fact that you guys interact with me so much, it really does humble me, and this really is all for you guys. What's up, Chad? Chad said he's going to be at the – shout out, Chad, going to be at the Vegas game. Hey, SK is going to be at that Vegas game. And I know a handful of others going to be at the Vegas game as well. SKOL chat with bagpipes. There you go, GM. There you go. I'll hit him up. I'll hit him up. I'll leave him a comment and say, hey, hit me up a little bit. Now it's on popping, Dave. You're the real deal. Hey, I appreciate you, Dylan. See, that's what I'm saying, man. It warms my heart when you guys leave me comments like that and that you interact in this chat. And then after an hour of me rambling and raving and whatever else, that y'all are still going strong, throwing the comments at me. So if y'all on Twitter, tweet out this for me. Share this on your tabs, whatever the case may be. That's going to wrap it for tonight. Tomorrow night, 6:30. Actually, tomorrow night I think it's going to be at 7 o'clock because I got some errands I got to run, so I can't make it at 6:30. So 6:30 or 7, but it'll be on the page. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that whenever an episode gets posted or whenever a live gets posted, you know what time it's going off and all that other guys say. You know how that goes. You online guys are all I've got to talk like. GMAC, remind me. You told me a while ago, but where are you at, GMAC? I forget. Greg, where you at, man? But in all seriousness, that's what I mean. That's what we're here for. You know, we do this as a hobby. We do this for fun. We hope to turn this into something. Oh, go to the Viking and go to Purple and SKOL Media. SKOL Fest. That is Saturday the 9th, the night before week 1. If you are in the Minneapolis or surrounding areas, we are going to have a live show. And by we, I mean myself, Rap, Dave, SK, GG, Yogi. I know In the Zone's coming in from Detroit. I know Mike. I don't remember if Mike said he's coming in from Philly or not, but you're in Virginia. All right, G-Mac, I appreciate you. We're going to be at the Northeast Palace in Northeast Minneapolis, and we're going to do a live show. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. We're definitely doing the live show. We're going to try to get that on YouTube as well. We're not sure how the logistics of that is going to work, but if we don't run the show live, we will take videos of that and we'll post that on all our pages so y'all get to see. But if you're in the Minneapolis area, Northeast Palace, that's right in downtown Minneapolis, it is not more than 5 miles from the stadium. So Rhino from Vikings Uncensored said he's going to try to come. He said he's going to try to go. If I win the lotto tomorrow, I'll be there. You ain't winning it, Bob, because I'm winning it. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys. That's going to wrap it for now. Like I said, tune in tomorrow night, 6:30, possibly 7 o'clock Central Time on Purple and Gold for Days, and simulcast on Minnesota Sports Talk. And like I said, next week, that's when we start the full schedule. So the Vikings content will continue to flow. If we sign Dalton Risner, I'll have an episode up as soon as I can get it up there for you, as well as all the other content creators out there. And I'll say it right now. I'm feeling good about this season, yo. I really am. And I'm not an optimistic type, according to Dave. I'm a pessimistic type. I'll say right now, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this Flores thing. I'm tempering my enthusiasm. I'm not saying we're going to be top 10 defense, but I think we can be good enough. And I honestly am starting to believe that Kirk might just have this figured out. I don't know. We'll see. But I feel good about it. So next week, though, Purple and SKOL Media is when we go into full effect. So all those shows that are on Purple and SKOL Media, again, they're going to be exclusively on that. Last year, we did simulcast. So when I did my show on Monday, it was on Purple and Gold for Days, and Purple and SKOL Media is only going to be on Purple and SKOL Media. If you don't already subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL, my guy Dave and Tyler and Darren, not only hit up their YouTube page, but hit them up on Spotify, Apple. As I said, I do at least one show a week where it's exclusively podcasts only, so it won't be on this channel. Yes, some of my episodes will get onto their feed, but not all of them. All of their live shows get on their podcast feed, so if you miss it and you want to listen to it on podcast form, you certainly can. But I'll say it right now, get on their feed for us. And even if all you do is download the episodes that you already watched, if you already watched it on YouTube and after you download, just go ahead and swipe it away. That helps us out. And I'm very humbled and honored to actually have been asked to be on their show with them. I've watched those guys when they were with Climb in the Pocket for years. Just like, man, I wish I could do what those guys do. And then when they split off, and when Dave said, hey, Justin, I want to sit down and talk with you about coming on our show. I'm like, okay. It humbles me. I'm going to try. Yeah, Homer? No, I am definitely not no Homer. Okay. That is definitely not me. What's up, Gigi? Hey, I pimped your show enough times, Gigi. I gave him the schedule. I gave him the whole schedule. When you guys are on Mondays and Wednesdays, you guys are on Thursdays. So I got your back, brothers. I got your back. And so we got you at SKOL Fest as well. I never thought I'd have a Britney Spears reference, but there you go. There you go. Oh, Ozark is absolutely a great watch. Gary, you ain't lying. Ozark is outstanding. I won't spoil it for you. I'm just going to say yes, no. That's a good one. Sarah, this is why we always love when Sarah's in the building. I got back together. We will break up again. Yeah, Gary, boy, oh boy. Yeah. See, this is why I cut it off after an hour, especially when I said, Jamie's moving. Thank you. Jamie's moving, and that's why they didn't go tonight. But hey, he had a good episode tonight. A quick one talking about Kirk Cousins making the top 42. So go check those guys out. Check out all the channels. You know the drill. With all that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it here tonight. This was episode number one. See, I put the wrong one up again. See, this is one. Okay. It's preseason for me, too. It's preseason for me, too, ladies and gentlemen. It's preseason. That's the one I meant to put up there. So that's the name of the show, SKOL for Days. I'll play on Purple and Gold for Days. SKOL for Days, episode 1 in the books. I cannot thank you all enough. Thank you so kindly for joining me. Hit the like buttons. If you don't already subscribe, hit the subscribe button. For now, as always, tagline out, just once before we die, and SKOL to the next episode. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you.